Joshua Landis, thanks for being with us. You think this is a bad idea?
No, I think that Mr. Colonel Kemp has it about right. America has an interest in dissuading any power, and particularly Syria, from using chemical weapons. But as he said, entering into the civil war, trying to change the balance of power, is something that President Obama probably does not want to do, because it'll suck us into a civil war, which we cannot adjudicate, as we discovered in Iraq. And so in that sense, I do think that one has to be careful, because if you destroy the regime, there are still millions of people who live in Damascus and many cities that have been affected by the civil war but have not been destroyed. There are over 1,000 militias in Syria, and the real strongest ones are quite Salafist. Some are jihadist and linked to al-Qaeda. You would open up the doors to these cities to be overrun by these militias it could create much greater instability in Syria. And that's the danger of just lashing out without limitation.
Yeah, you've been an observer of this Syrian regime for a very long time. Do you think that the Bashar al Assad regime gassed its own people?
I do. I think it's, they're fighting a brutal war. And in war, you try to kill your enemies. And we can't forget the United States used the atom bomb. We firebombed Dresden, killed hundreds of thousands of people at a whack because we wanted to win and we wanted to kill our enemies. And I imagine, Bashar al Assad is using the same strategy. He's running out of options. And
Joshua, if I can jump in, he had the upper hand on many battlefields. UN weapons inspectors were right there, 5 kilometers away from the alleged weapons attack site. Morality aside, it's not logical, some people say.
Well, you want to win. That's the logic of war. And for the enemy, and I've gone over this quite a few times and thought through it, for the opposition to have engaged in this kind of conspiracy to kill their own people in order to engage in a false flag mission that would then bring in external force to hit at Assad would be extremely dangerous game, because it would require dozens of people to be involved in the conspiracy. It would eventually get known, and those people would be killed by their own, the head of the opposition that engaged in this kind of conspiracy to kill their own people would be they would be eventually assassinated, because the word would get out. It just doesn't make sense for them to do it to themselves.